We'll start by having Patty and Allison introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do here at NRHA.
Hi, I'm Patty Bowman. I'm in Member Services and Training, and usually the person who answers the phone when you call in and have a question, be it your username and password or how to actually set up a training program. I've been with NRHA for going on 11 years, and I do a lot of the trade shows, so you may have seen me working the booth at the markets.
I'm Allison DeWitt. I've been here with NRHA for about a year and a half now, and I help out Patty whenever I can with those phone calls as well as with those booth visits at the different trade show markets. Help work in developing some of the training programs that we offer for you all, as well as in some of our events like our annual convention.
All right, well, let's get started. Allison, NRHA has had a lot of customer service research done in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure thing. As an independent retailing market, a lot of times we really feel that our main competitive advantage is our customer service. Here at NRHA and at Harbor Retailing, we're constantly saying that about you all as independent retailers, that that's really what you focus on, and what's really great is your customer service. It's really what you're all able to hang your hat on in our industry. But we know we always say that, but here at NRHA and Harbor Retailing, we decided to kind of delve into that a little deeper. What really does constitute good customer service? We know what we think it is, and we know that we think we have it as an independent industry, but what are the customers actually looking for? So we decided recently to do a study with Harbor Retailing that focused on consumers as well as retailers. And what we did is we asked consumers what they felt how is customer service important? And what we did was, as you can see on this chart, our first question was, what's the single biggest factor when considering whether a store delivers good customer service? And what we did throughout this study is we asked both consumers as well as we asked retailers. We said, what do you think your customers feel are the most important aspects of customer service? And as you can see, overwhelmingly both retailers and consumers felt that having knowledgeable employees was really most important. That means trained employees who can help you out throughout your store, who know about the projects you're working on, know about the products your customers are seeking, and that's really what they feel is the best customer service. As you can see, it goes down to some of the other things, such as wide selection of products was most important to consumers. Something that we always think was interesting here was that retailers really thought that store having friendly employees was really what customer service was all about. And here we were able to see that really, while that's still very important, stores really still need to have friendly employees. It's not just enough to be friendly and nice to your consumers and your customers when they're coming in. They're really looking for that extra support as far as knowledge. Next, what we asked was, okay, so we know that product knowledge is important to you, but what is the single most important factor in delivering good customer service? And as you can see, again, along what we thought, employees exhibiting that knowledge about products that they are selling is really what's important to consumers. They still want a pleasant atmosphere. They still want a convenient location and everything, but really they want to be able to shop with people who can help them answer their questions. Move on. Yeah. We even asked as far as, okay, well, how does that compare as far as money goes? And again, we found that really customer service and that training and that product knowledge is important, and that consumers are willing to pay slightly more for home improvement projects if they're convenient, as well as if they're being able to find that service they need. If they can know that they can go to your store and they can get better service, they don't have to make multiple trips back and forth because the employee at the big box forgot to tell them they'll need such and such item and such item. If they know they can go to your independent location and they can find everything they need, they can get all the help they need and can get in and out, they're going to pay a little bit more if they need to. So we took the study one step further, and we also asked who provides the best customer customer service? Where are you finding these needs met? Where are you finding that people are able to provide you with product and project knowledge? And as you can see, we did this study in 2000 and decided to do it again in 2009, and we found that 55% of consumers find that their best service is at the locally owned stores, which is great. We're still in the lead as an industry, as an independent industry. People are still coming to us first because they feel that that's the best customer service. Big boxes are at 40% though, and that is something to consider because when we did the study originally in 2000, 64% of people actually found that our independent stores were the ones that had the best customer service. So that's something that we really need to consider. It's telling us that while many of these big boxes like Lowe's and Home Depot, they knew that they didn't have the best reputation back in 2000, and they're really ramping up, they're really amping up the things that they're doing to increase their image as well as increase the training that their associates have. I'm sure a lot of you have seen Lowe's new ad campaigns. They've even changed their slogan. It used to just be, let's build something together. Now it's experience Lowe's. Let's build something together. They're really toting on the fact that they have experience and that they're going to be able to help you out. Those new commercials, I'm sure you've seen them, where the sales associates is really making that DIYer's life a breeze. These DIYers, they come in, they're just lost, and Lowe's is giving out that image that they are the ones that can be helped. And people are starting to notice those images, especially younger generations who grew up with the idea of big boxes being where you go and shop, and they grew up with seeing all these ad campaigns. So it's really important to note that and to make sure that we are continuing to better our training as independents and our store's customer service.
I think that's all great information that retailers can use and really take to heart when they're amping up their customer service programs. Patty helps many retailers start employee training in order to provide better customer service. So Patty, can you talk about the different types of training?
I can. Thank you, Emily. Since every store needs to train their employees on retail basics, the right training tools are essential. So to get it started, there's 4 basic areas that we're going to cover. Your new hire orientation is the basic knowledge a new employee needs to have, and this includes introductions to coworkers, workplace policies, store hours, what the store offers, emergency procedures, and so on. A good policy handbook is a good place to start with this. Can be both a valuable tool for new employees and seasoned employees. NRHA has a human resource handbook that we have updated in the last couple of years. This is available in the members-only section of our website, and you can get tips on how to create these policy handbooks for your store. I know here at NRHA we have a handbook, and it's called Plan in Action, and it covers everything from how to set our voicemail on our telephone to how to plan for our retirement. It's just a wonderful book. It gives it gives our office policies on dress code and vacation schedules and on, personal days, insurance, everything is in that book. So we all rely heavily on our handbook here at NRHA. Product knowledge is one of the hardest areas to train, but it's also one of the very most important. A customer doesn't distinguish between an employee in the paint department and one in lawn and garden. They expect everybody in that store to know about every department. So NRHA has developed our training programs with this in mind, and we turn to our vendors as well to get resources for training. We have a vendor partner training program that many of our vendor partners participate in. That program is available on the website on the home page. It's under the product sourcing directory that I think Allison touched on earlier. So product knowledge helps your employees sell your products, and we give them tips and offerings on how to upsell and add on and how to keep abreast of lines that are being changed and how to actually sell those lines. Selling skills also helps you in the basic training course in hardware retailing and in the building material. There are chapters dedicated to selling skills, customer service, and retail merchandising. Retail skills is just your guts of your store. It's your customer interaction with your customers, and if you don't have a good rapport with those customers, that's detrimental to your business. Your business won't grow if your customer service and your product knowledge is not what it should be. The latest offering that NRHA has provided is a loss prevention course, and we have touched on several different loss prevention aspects with this course. The first one deals with internal theft, and this basically, unfortunately, deals with employee theft, which is the largest component of overall retail shrinkage at hardware stores. The FBI estimates that an employee theft it's the most rapidly growing crime in the U.S., and according to the Justice Department, 1 in 3 employees commit some degree of employee theft. So if you think you have an employee that you can't trust, chances are you're probably right. I mean, even when you think of small things like they've used your postage machine or they've taken one of your bags to tote stuff home in, that in reality is actually shrinkage, because those are things that have to come out of your bottom line budget, and that's theft in a small way, but still there. The second module is external theft, which also it covers shoplifting, how to spot it, how to deal with it properly, and when it happens, how to deal with it, and then how to prevent it from happening in the first place. The third module was launched at the beginning of this year, and it covers store safety. And this chapter teaches you how to design a store safety manual and also gives you filing procedures should an accident occur. This is also something that kind of walks hand in hand with the OSHA. I'm sure you all have seen, if you do have an accident, there are OSHA reports that have to be filled out. And this kind of goes along that line. It teaches you those procedures. The last module that will be out toward the end of this year is going to cover checkout fraud and robbery prevention. This training course, the loss prevention, is located in the NRHA site, the members-only site, and it can be it'll, as the others, basic training in hardware, building materials, our 3 pennies of profit, those can all be found under training in the NRHA website. So this is just a snapshot of what that looks like on our website.
Okay. Allison, can you please talk a little bit more about the retail profitability training programs we have at NRHA?
Sure thing. Patty touched on those 4 main pillars of training that we really try and help you all with, as well as develop programs for. And something else that we've recently updated is our retail profitability training components that we offer you all. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with this video, our 3 pennies of profit. It's actually a training video that we produced about 20 years ago or so, and that we've always found great success with. A lot of retailers use it for every new hire that they have. And what we decided to do just last summer, I believe, was update it, give it a fresh look, make sure we had some 80s hairstyles going on that we decided to kind of update, as well as update the technology and the information that make it really pertinent to your store today. And what it really does is it teaches employees, like it says here, the realities of retail profitability. Oftentimes when you have a new hire, they feel that when they're making a $5 transaction at the cash register that you actually are pocketing that $5. And we all know that that is nowhere close to true. And so this really helps to dispel those kind of notions that a lot of your especially new hires might have. So what it does is it goes through and it really breaks that down, and it breaks that money down and lets you know that really at the end of the day, on every dollar of sales you have, you're only hopefully bringing in about 3 cents of profit on every one of those dollars. 60% of the money of you bring in is going to go back to buy new products. 8 cents is going to go here, 5 is going to go there. You have health and benefits, salaries, expenses, and at the end of the day, you're left with those 3 pennies. And this video is only about 15 minutes long, and it breaks that down for your employees. It's set in a fictional hardware store, and it really also helps them to understand the idea of what shrinkage really is, and how some of those little things like employee theft and shoplifting that Patty was talking about earlier, how those really affect you and your store and profitability, and not only how it affects you as a store owner, but then how that can affect their jobs as your store employees and as the company that you're working for as a whole. Like I said, a lot of people have been using this for 20 years now. It's almost kind of like an anniversary edition. So what we did was we also interviewed some of the retailers who have been using it for about 20 years, and you can view their testimonials both on our website and on the DVD, which you can buy. I think it's actually only $19.95. It says $19.99 here. But it really gives you just some tips on how you can integrate this program into your store. A lot of times, like I said, it's the first thing that these, especially the people that we talk to, these retailers show their new employees so they can really kind of understand how your store works and understand your perspective. It's free for all NRHA members. Actually, it's free to view for anyone on our website. If you would like a hard copy as a DVD, it's $19.95, which you can also buy on our website. It's also a great thing about it is we've developed study guides, instructional tools for you and for your students, as well as a testing option. If you are an NRHA member, you have access to all those extras to really help you in your store understand retail profitability a little better.
Earlier, Allison discussed what consumers are expecting when it comes from local independent stores, and one of the biggest things was product knowledge. Now, Patty, can you talk a little bit more about the product knowledge training that retailers should have in their stores?
I can. That's one of the things NRHA specializes in. For the price of your membership, you get unlimited access to a host of NRHA training programs. That includes NRHA's basic training in hardware retailing, basic training course in building material, loss prevention, our 3 pennies of profit, the advanced course in hardware retailing, and the building material product knowledge, which are a couple of the older courses that we ramped up and put them on the internet as opposed to having to read through a manual and fill in the bubble sheets. At this time, we have approximately 6,000 stores and 30,000 or so students currently using one or all of these training programs. And we've got testimonials from different stores that just are so excited that they've implemented these training programs, and the compliments they get from customers, they know they're doing something right by using these training programs. Obviously, the more product knowledge your employee has, the easier it's going to be for him to sell more product. When you open up the basic training course, you'll see a page similar to the one on the screen, and you'll be led through this visually engaging course. It's easy to follow, and you'll be rewarded at the end with your grade. At the top, you can see you've got the anatomy of the hammers, and you've got the frequently asked questions. Every module will show upselling and add-on sales techniques, safety tips, for any of your contractors that may be coming in through the store. We have a pro corner, and then merchandising, how to merchandise this information. So just to give you an example of one of the upselling techniques, we've taken the hammer and showed the different ways that upselling a hammer could be done with just simple product knowledge tips. The higher priced hammers have sturdier handles. They have better steel heads. They have a flat, a bigger face area these are all good upselling tips that somebody could use to sell a better hammer and thus help your bottom line. In addition to that, the anatomy of the hammer. So if I started at your store, and I would need to know everything about a hammer because, obviously I didn't before I started working. So this would help show your employee everything about that hammer and let them know what they're selling.
Now, in addition to the training courses available from NRHA, if you're looking to get your employees a little bit more knowledgeable about specific products, that's where our vendor partner training materials come into play. Allison, can you tell us a little bit about what vendor partner training materials are available to members and why is this important?
Sure. I believe Patty kind of touched on it a little before, but our vendor partner training program is our vendor partner membership program, is a membership program that we offer to manufacturers and other service organizations to help them and you be a little more connected. And all of the resources that they offer are actually on our website. And what we intended to do here is really give you the advantage of being able to access brand-specific training. And you asked why that was important, Emily. There are so many products and so many SKUs in our industry, and a lot of times, while it's extremely important, as we know, to know the generals information concerning all of the products, sometimes you want to know the specific information about that actual manufacturer's product, the things that you are actually carrying in your store. And so what we did is we kind of made that all available to you on NRHA's website. And here is just a picture of our homepage, and we'll get a little closer in a minute, but as you can see in that left hand, you can see where it says that green box, Product Sourcing Directory, and right below it is an orange box that says Brand-Specific Training. And these are going to be the two places you're actually able to go in, and if a manufacturer has their training resources listed on our site, you'll be able to access them here. You can search in the brand-specific training at the bottom by category, or if you're carrying a specific manufacturer, say you want Scott's information, you can type them straight into that product sourcing directory, and if they have a listing with us, which Scott's does, as you can see here, it's going to pop up, and you're going to be able to click on it, and it'll be highlighted in the search engine, and you'll click on it, and it'll take you here. And what our vendor partners are able to do is post what we call an enhanced listing. They're able to give you some of their latest products in that Hot Products button in the top right-hand corner. But most importantly, what they're able to do is really provide you with that extra knowledge about their specific products. In the product knowledge and training resources section at the bottom, you can see here that Scott provides us with many different links. Training videos. Scott's has their own institute, as I'm sure many of you know, and we have links to that here. Anything from selling sheets, study guides, tests, anything that these manufacturers have developed to help their retailers better sell their products. If they're a vendor partner, they have the opportunity to post that on our website, and then we offer that to you. And you actually don't have to be a member to access this. This is free for anyone to access.
All right, so now that we talked about all these different programs, I mean, it's great to have your employees trained, but we all know that motivating employees isn't always easy. So, Patty, can you talk about a little bit about how a retailer can incentivize their employees to complete these programs?
I can. Although money is a strong motivator, it doesn't have to be your only option. NRHA provides a certificate of completion for most all of the courses that are completed here, and we encourage you to display these certificates so customers can see that you go that extra mile to train your employees and provide them with knowledgeable staff. Some stores will award a bonus for each chapter completed, or maybe a larger bonus at the end of the entire course. The monetary rewards are as individual as your store is. It's what you can offer without breaking your bank and motivate your employees. And sometimes, just some time off, or maybe a movie ticket, or dinner for two, whatever it can be, whatever you want it to be, as long as it helps you to motivate your employees to take these tests and become better. Recognition in front of peers is a very good thing. We have a gold star here at our monthly meetings, and someone's awarded a gold star for random acts of kindness, or helping somebody else on a project, but it's just a real motivator here to get a gold star. So the recognition there in front of all your coworkers is also a really good incentive. So we can talk further about that. If you want to give me a call or email me, I'd be happy to give you some other suggestions, or let you know what some of the other stores are doing.
And if you have more questions or would like to know more about NRHA's membership and what's completed in that, or included in that, you can access nrha.org for more of that information. We do have a question from one of the attendees of the webinar. One of them says, what do you recommend for a plan, a program, or process to give associates that basic knowledge of every department? The basic course has a lot of detail and seems like more than a new associate can absorb soon after being hired. From my personal experience interviewing retailers, a couple of them had made the basic training course mandatory to be completed within the first 90 days of employment. I mean, that can vary between stores, but I heard that a few times when you have that temporary period of the employee learning new things, and if they're going to actually commit and stay as an employee, or maybe it's a temporary period where if you find out maybe they won't fit for your store, during that time they should commit to this program. Patty or Allison, do you have any answers for him?
I think the commitment is the biggest thing you need to push in the store, is the commitment to take the course and to finish the course. And while it is a lot of information to absorb, I would say whatever department you're starting that person in, I would start with that department first, and then as the employee is there, introduce them to other departments.
This is Allison. I would also say that a lot of times we recommend that you allow them to use their study guides as a reference point when they're taking the test, because there is a lot of information in all of those courses that we offer. And really, even just being able to have that second or third touch point, we recommend they read the material, but when they're ready to take the test, if they need to sit down with the study guide, it's just another place for them to recall that information again, to help them find it. And really, repetition is how most people learn. So just being able to kind of go through it all and have a general understanding, and if they need to use the study guide, because there is so much information, but however much they can absorb is going to be helpful to you.
We have another question. One of the attendees asks, is there a good source for basic overviews of a home's plumbing system, electrical wiring, basic instruction, etc., something oriented towards the customer's experience rather than the products we sell? Do you guys have any suggestions for him for some added information for the customer?
Well, if it's projects, if they're plumbing projects or electrical projects, and feel free, if they're not, to type in your question again to Emily here. But we also offer project brochures on our website for our members. I believe there are, what, Patty, like 70?
There's, I think, 71 titles.
They're just project brochures that you are able to print off or link to your store's website if your store has one, and they're a great reference point. They have step-by-step instructions, photos, as well as a checklist at the bottom that so you make sure that you have picked up all the products you need to fulfill that project. And that's something that you can offer at your store for your customers to help them fulfill those projects, as well as sometimes you maybe just leave them at the counter or make your sales associates familiar with them. I don't know if that's what you're looking for exactly, but that's something that we offer that can be more for your consumer for how-to than your employees.
Okay. Another question is, does NRHA have a suggested format of what training to do and when for beginning employees and mid-level employees?
I'd say the best place to start would be at the basic training course. Even your seasoned employees, I think, will find that there's a lot of helpful, useful information in that course. It's no matter how much you know and how long you've been there, I'm sure there are things in there that you'll go, oh, I knew that, but I forgot that. So I would say to start at the basic starting point would be a good place. Our 3 pennies of profit is always a great place to start to let all your employees know just where that bottom line dollar is, because if they see that helping you helps them, you'll get a better response. So I would say start at the beginning with basic training in hardware retailing, and then if you sell building materials, I would jump over to the basic in building. If not, then I would move on to probably loss prevention and get that under your belt, and then maybe take a look at the advanced course in hardware.
We have another question. How would you handle an employee who has been at the store for years and says they don't need the training? We actually have another attendee that kind of answered this question, and this is just her experience, but she says, we started drawing, so each time an employee completes a class, they get 1 entry into the drawing, and then at the next store meeting, they'll draw a name for a gift certificate to a local restaurant. You can be creative with the type of ways you incentivize your employees, but, Patty mentioned a few ways that you can help them at least get motivated, because there will be people and there will be employees that might be harder for them to be motivated to take the time and do these programs. But another way you can find out what would motivate them is just ask them. Ask them what the employees are looking for. If a gift certificate is not something they're looking for, maybe they just want $50. It's whatever, you can relate to them and see what will motivate them. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I think that's a good answer. On the person who said they don't need to take it, maybe ask them if they'd be willing to take the chapter without reviewing it and just see, it's kind of mean, but see how they do on it and see if that's, I think they'd be quite surprised that maybe they didn't know quite as much as they thought they did.
Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions, but if you have any more questions after the webinar is over or you think of something later, feel free to email either Patty, Allison, or I. Our emails are up on the screen, or contact NRHA. Our webinar will be available in the archives on our site within a few days, so if you have somebody that missed it and you think would benefit from that, feel free to check www.nrha.org. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.